Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. With the recent rains in Oklahoma and fingers crossed that more is on the way, how is soil fertility shaping up for our wheat crop? Here's SUNUP's Curtis Hare and Dr. Brian Arnall with some answers.
As we discussed last week, that recent rain might have saved the crop. So Brian, we're talking about wheat. Wheat's coming up. Yep. In regards to soil fertility, what has that rain meant for producers across the state?
So fertility-wise, it's kind of kick-starting everything going. So we've got the rain, the wheat's in the ground, and honestly, I'm telling folks not to worry about the fertility right now, other than the in-furrow. Just get the seed in the ground. If you have moisture, take advantage of that moisture. Not too worried about leaching right now. We're so dry below. As we get more rain, we will push nitrate down, but we're having a wetting front, so it's not like we're leaching out anything in most of our regions. So not a lot of concern about nitrogen loss. We are putting moisture into a very dry soil, so while we have enough temperature now to germinate wheat and grow wheat, we will start moving that organic matter system. So we're going to start breaking down the straw and the residue that was not broken down over the summer because of lack of moisture. So we're going to start seeing that tie up a little bit. But really the important thing is getting your seed in, getting that proper P&K or that proper phosphorus with it in furrow if needed.
And we do have some, rain in the forecast, and especially in the month of, the Climate Prediction Center is predicting a little bit more rain, hopefully. Yeah. So what does that mean in regards to trying to get ahead of that rain? What do some producers need to think about when they're, applying that P&K into the field?
So my story right now holds to be similar to what has been in the past, is that we have enough research at Oklahoma State. We have years of research that says if we're growing a grain wheat, we do not need to get too hurried up with our nitrogen. We have a little bit in the system. Most of our soils actually had abundancy of residual nitrogen because we had so much movement upward of nitrate into the surface with the drought and the evapotranspiration. Focus on getting the wheat in, getting a good stand, doing that properly. If you can go in furrow, make sure that's done. But we have time. Get your enriched strips out during the months of late November through December and watch. You can even put a phosphorus-rich strip out there just to see if there's value to put that, but get those out there. We're not going to grow a lot. So we're in Dr. Carver's wheat field right now. This was irrigated up, so all of our dry land is behind this. This crop right here hasn't used more than about 5 or 6 pounds of nitrogen per acre. So if we think about our climate, if we think about our temperature, we're not going to get really big wheat this year, which means we're not going to be using just a massive amount of nitrogen early. So we can hold without any worry about losses until the springtime.
What are some recommendations you have for producers who are looking out their fields like, my wheat's still not up? Yeah. What are some things that you can guidance that you can give them?
What I would say is, because our temperatures are cooler, we're into November now, so it's not like a normal planting in early October, September, where the wheat germinates and just blows out of the ground because it's growing so fast. We're cooler, the ammonia are cooler, so the soil temps are cooler. It's going to take longer for that wheat to germinate and get up through the ground. So if you're worried, go check. I mean, the best thing you can do is get dirty. So go ahead and go out there and check those fields. So make sure that you've got good seed. It's still viable. It's germinating. It's coming up. Do check crusting. I've noticed on a couple locations that the rains came a little bit heavier, so we have some crusting on the soil. We may have to look at some of that. There may be a little bit of resowing in some of the areas that had heavier rainfall.
And for those situations, maybe producers had already applied a nitrogen application. Yep. So how do they go about then, if they do have to resow, what's the situation there?
The one caveat I'd say, if you're going to have to resow, we should be thinking about upping our seeding rate, whether you go by pounds or seeds per acre. As we get closer to the end of the year, we're going to rely more upon main tillers for our production and less upon secondary and tertiary or third level tillers. So I'm already moving my seeding rate up. Typically when I'm sowing in the 1st of October, I'm at a 60 to 70 pounds of seed per acre sowing rate. I'm now moved into 80, and by the end of this week, anything left over into next week, I'll probably be pushing into 90 to 96 pounds of seed per acre. So I can compensate for my lack of tillering with more main tillers, so I can keep my yield up.
So in regards to, you mentioned that the plant's likely to be smaller than in years past. When we get to that point in the spring, when we can start applying that nitrogen and holding off, is there going to be a difference in the amount of application than in years past, or just the same?
So it's really the same. So that's a two-part deal, what you just said there. I hate the same amount every single year because the crop doesn't need the same amount. It's different, the environment's different. So that's why we really say think about the enriched strip and the green seeker sensor, because they'll tell you the exact amount you need. Talk to your county educator, come see me and we can talk about it. There's consultants that utilize that resource also. If we come into February and we don't have subsoil moisture, I'm probably holding back the rains until I know I've got something to live off of. But if we can get a profile filling winter rainfall events, then I'm going all in, and I'm going to say we can get our yields.
So it just sounds like we just need more rain.
We need more rain.
Alrighty, thanks, Brian. Dr. Brian Arnall, Precision Nutrient Management Specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And if you'd like a link to some more information of what Brian talked about, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.